protecting one of the London's most iconic buildings and safeguarding the world's most high-profile royal is no easy task. Masked by the magnitude of their bearskin hats, red tunic uniforms, everything about the Queen's foot guards oozes mystery. So, without further ado, let's uncover the secrets of the Queen's Guards. Queen's Guards wearings. In what could be considered either a cost-cutting measure or an attempt to play their part in preserving wildlife, the Queen's Guards recently trialed synthetic fur hats. The hats, which are tall and made from fluffy bearskin, were paired with their uniform to make the guards appear taller and more intimidating. The original fur hats cost $64,000 each. However, the artificial fur replacement didn't achieve the desired result. They didn't look as nice as the real fur hat, and the color ran out of them easily, with the only benefit being their lightweight. Hats made from real bearskin can weigh from 2 to 4 kilograms. And if standing out in the rain or snow, it collects the liquid, making it even heavier. The bearskin hat is so heavy that if it's struck or shot in combat, it could easily break the soldier's neck. Hence, the underknown strap made from real bear, where the hats are only replaced if they are too far gone to repair. And with one guard stating his from 1968, this doesn't happen often. No doubt, a relief for animal lovers with an estimated population of 1 million. The Canadian black bear and the pelt of which the hats are fashioned does not feature on the endangered species list. Guard stretching his lips. It sounds unbelievable, but it's true. If a royal guardian seems smiling whilst on duty and their superior officer notices, they may be fined up to a week's wages. The job of one of the Queen's Guards is obviously a very serious one, right down to the expressions on your face. A bit tough if you're the cheerful type, but I guess if that was the case, you'd best not to apply. For some, it wouldn't be an easy task, as often the crowds gathered around will do almost anything to get the notoriously stern-faced guards to crack a smile. Unfortunately, they are oblivious to the fact that doing so could cost the poor guards a generous portions of their pay packet. If caught smiling, or worse still laughing at a tourist joke or silly antics, they can be charged anywhere from a few days to a week's pay or around £200. Sad, but true. Intruder given whiskey by Queen's staff. According to a charming chap who broke into Buckingham Palace late one night, staff gave him a glass of whiskey, as he looked a little parched. Considering the guy was an intruder, it's difficult to believe his rendition of the night's events, but it makes for an interesting tale. Anyway, Michael Fagan came face to face with the Queen in 1982 when he scaled a 14-foot wall at Buckingham Palace, minutes after finding himself in the bedroom of Her Majesty, who was said to be sleeping at the time. Fagan was grabbed by a footman who was standing guard outside her bedroom door. The footman, Paul Wirebrew, is said to have offered him a stiff drink while waiting for the authorities to arrive. No doubt, a tall tale considering Fagan previous dodgy dealings, as this wasn't his first visit inside the palace walls. Just a month prior, he had managed to break into Prince Charles' quarters and spend most of the evening inside before being caught. Why he was allowed back out again to repeat the offense within a month of being caught, or how he wasn't noticed prior to entering the Queen's quarter, is a question for her security team. You can guarantee that one, if not several, were swiftly reassigned or cut loose following that incident. Fainting to attention. Did you know that the Queen's Guard have a specific regimen to follow when it comes to fainting? Well, they do, and it turns out they faint quite a lot. It's not hard to believe either when you consider the uniform they wear isn't exactly suited to the warmer months. Imagine for a moment that it's in the middle of the summer and you're dressed from head to foot in a woolen-made ensemble with a heavy black fur hat to match naturally. You're not going to take very long at all to overheat. But how do you cope? Realistically, not all of them do. Hence the protocol: as soon as the guard starts to feel dizzy, they must remain at attention, keeping the same positions when falling, even if it's face down. Ouch! They are trained to feign to attention, meaning they must keep their disciplined pose right throughout the fall, and won't land in a crumpled heap like the rest of us. Queen's nickname. Considered a rather common name, the Queen was given an alias many years back to ensure her safety prior to a royal visit. Formally, she isn't dressed as Your Majesty, Ma'am, and Elizabeth II. However, her very much informal name is apparently Sharon. This secret name, said to be given by her security protections officers, is used when the Queen is out in public, shortened to simply S on occasion. One royal aide wrote the initial down during a security trip in advance of her visits to a cathedral town. When asked what the S stood for, the aide was said to him, "It's Sharon." Royal historian Hugo Vickers believed that it is highly likely Her Majesty has given the alias as the name would be easily recalled and it is conspicuous. The Queen isn't the only famous figure protected by a secret name, with former US President Barack Obama's undercover moniker Renegade. No doubt, Her Majesty is used to answering to several names, with Prince Philip said to refer to his wife as Lilibet or Sausage, and her great-grandchildren called her Gan Gan. How sweet! Drunk on duty. If you think the Queen's Guard appeared to be beyond reproach, you'd be wrong, with several found to be intoxicated on the job. Said to be a huge part of the culture among the Queen's Guards, a once trusted officer in the Metropolitan Police's Royalty Protections Command blew the whistle on a decade of naughtiness by those charged with protecting the royal family. Several of those who turned up smelling strongly of liquor were allowed to book out weapons, and others who were considered too far gone to adequately carry out their duties were advised to sleep it off or given medical relief in the form of mints or a Lucozade. All royal protection officers are armed to protect the Queen from intruders. However, drunk and armed officers were a recipe for disaster, with one accidentally shooting his weapon twice on the Queen's train. Tipsy officers have been known to threaten each other, and some prefer to carry their guns without bullet in case they accidentally shoot someone. In fact, in 2018, after a boozy brawl close to Windsor Castle, 5 soldiers from the Queen's Protections team were arrested inside a kebab shop prior to adding back to their barracks. I wonder what the Queen had to say. The red color. Did you know that before heading out to duty, and inspections of each royal guards is carried out by Her Majesty the Queen herself? She is greeted by a royal salute and then carries out a thorough inspections of the troops. After the military bands have performed, the escorted regimental color or flag is processed down the ranks of the officer, with over 100 words of command used by the officer in command of the parade to direct each soldiers. Colors was the name given to the flags representing the different regiments in the British Army, with each one different to the next depending on the colors and symbols of each regiment. The army used flags so that soldiers could easily keep an eye out for their own regiment's colors when they were on the battlefield, to ensure that he didn't get lost in battles. It was therefore important that the color were regularly displayed so that the soldiers could memorize them. Officers march up and down in front of the troops waving their flags, and this is what we now know as the trooping of the color. Relieving themselves on this spot. If you're the type that needs to go to the bathroom a little more regularly than most, working as a royal guard would be off limits. There are no bathroom breaks for those royal servants of Her Majesty. In fact, they are under strict instructions to relieve themselves quietly whilst going about their royal duties. Imagine standing in front of thousands of onlookers and going to the toilet and your trousers without flickering and not. I, for one, couldn't do it and trained to remain unflinching in the face of everything from extreme weather conditions to people screaming abuse just inches from their face. The royal guards have it tough. Although their shifts are normally just 2 hours long, they are instructed to drink plenty of water before going on duty in the warmer months. If the need for a toilet stop does arise, however, Guardsman Sean Martin says they are instructed to remain outwardly unflappable whilst relieving themselves in their thick woolen trousers. He points out that they are sufficiently dark enough to avoid any embarrassment. Still, imagine how uncomfortable it would be and how long before they are allowed a changing. Becoming a Queen's Guard. An half-hour-long computer-based test must be undertaken and passed before you can even be considered as a prospective guard to the Queen. The BARB, or British Army Recruit Battery, test checks your problem-solving, analytical, and logical skills. On top of that, the extreme examines whether the recruit will be able to adapt to the role in the future. If you pass the test, you are still not guaranteed a position in this elite squad, as you must measure at least 178 centimeters tall. Fully operational soldiers, the Queen's Guard and Queen's Lifeguard are the names given to contingents of infantry and cavalry soldiers. These guards are charged with protecting the official royal residences in the UK. So that's it for today's video. How do you feel about the mystery of these guards? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for more videos like this. Thank you for watching and goodbye.